Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Beyond the Sideline podcast, a podcast where we talk about the latest news and sports stories going on in the sports world today as we give our opinions as fans watching from beyond the sideline. Today is going to be a bit of a busy day. There's a lot of stuff to cover across many different sports, but I think the first thing we got to talk about is that the San Francisco 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy today officially signed his 5-year, $265 million contract extension. That's $53 million a year, and $181 million of that is going to be guaranteed. And Jake, we were talking about this off of the podcast yesterday, and we had a little bit of a disagreement because he stated that the 49ers Super Bowl window has officially closed. So I just want you to kind of explain your reasoning there.
Yeah, I think this is a recipe for kind of a disaster organizationally when you give a quarterback that's not a top five quarterback in football a top five quarterback salary. This is reminiscent to me of like the Dak deal, which I think is exactly what you shouldn't do if you're running a franchise. You give a B quarterback an A plus salary, and you look back at just who wins the Super Bowl basically every year, and it's either a generational talented quarterback who's getting paid like a Tom Brady or a Patrick Mahomes, or it's guys on rookie deals or cheaper deals. But the Dak Prescotts, the Trevor Lawrences, the Tuas, those are not the guys that are going to be able to propel your organization to the next level and get to a championship when you can't build out as much of the roster around them because now you're taking up all that cap space. So that's what it is for me. It's not that I don't like Brock Purdy because he's an awesome story and I think he is a very good NFL quarterback. He's just not a top five NFL quarterback. There's nothing wrong with that, but you can't give a guy who's outside the top five this kind of money because you just, if you're not a top five quarterback in the league, you need a really good roster around you. And this kind of cuts off your legs a little bit to build that roster around your quarterback.
Yeah, I don't think their window has officially closed, but I think it is very quickly closing. I think if they don't get it this year, then I think next year is definitely going to be the final year for them to make some sort of push. I think this year is the year to do it, though. The 49ers do have the easiest strength of schedule in the league compared to their opponents' winning percentage last year. I think their strength of schedule is like 415, 413. It's right down there with the Saints.
Their last like seven games of the season, not one comes against a playoff team from last year, and they're like, it's going to be a very easy back half of the year.
Yeah, and their bye week is pretty late too, which I don't like. I think it's in like week 14. I hate really late bye weeks, and I also hate really early bye weeks. I think it's bad for any sort of team.
Great.
But yeah, I mean, I'm a little biased because I am a 49ers fan, but I mean, just think I've always said he's like a top 10 quarterback, but I think he's the top 15, but he doesn't play like a top 15, if that makes sense. Like he's a great quarterback. Do I think he's worth 50 plus million a year? No. Do I think he deserves it though? Yeah. I mean, he's played really well for Mr. formerly Mr. Irrelevant. I think he should have gotten maybe 35 million a year. I think that would have been more reasonable. 40 at the most. Um, but yeah, I mean, you saw this year the 49ers cap space definitely hurt them in free agency, but that was attributed to Debo Samuel since they traded him before the dead cap deadline. So that means the 49ers have to pay out his contract, and that hurt them in salary cap. They couldn't re sign guys like Talanoa Hufunga, Dre Greenlaw. I believe they both went to the Denver Broncos. Um, but I mean, you still get other guys on your team. But yeah, I mean, I to To go back to your point, I don't think it's closed. I just think it is very quickly closing.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. To me, yeah, like there's certainly ways you can do it. I think it makes things more difficult because you have to
Yeah,
have a
for
schedule
sure.
that really works out for you, and you have to hit on all of your other draft picks, basically. If you want to build out a team around a quarterback who's that expensive and not necessarily going to raise your team's ceiling by that much, or just not by as much as other quarterbacks in the league who are above him, you have to then just hit on all your draft picks so you can stay cheap in other areas of the field. But it's a lot harder to do that, you know? Like it's a lot easier to hit on a rookie quarterback or just hit on a quarterback high in the draft. So then you have 4 years of a cheap quarterback, and then you can go out and supplement anywhere else you want. But to do the opposite, it's difficult.
No, yeah, it's definitely going to be an uphill battle for the 49ers now that they're in the spot. Like it's win now. You got if you don't win this year, I think it is. I think it's pretty much over.
And I
Next
mean,
year,
the NFC is getting better too. Like it used to be, the NFC obviously has Mahomes and Allen and Lamar, and it still feels like the AFC is there. But now, obviously, the Eagles look better than ever. They're coming off their Super Bowl. The Commanders have come out of nowhere now. They've kind of hit perfectly. The Rams are still good. The Lions are still obviously really good. But, you know, the Vikings could be on the rise. The Packers have been on the rise. The Bears could get better and better. So this is really, I agree with you. I think if the 49ers want to make a run, it's got to be now because there's just other teams where they're going to have cheaper quarterbacks. That's why, like a Jaden Daniels, like the Commanders are set up so much better now than a team like the 49ers, even though a year ago you would say, oh my God, it's not even close. 49ers are so much better, but that's just how quickly things change. But yeah, I think this is the time now where you still have your core together for the most part. You got to make it count right now.
yeah, and um, I mean, so I've looked into this. I think it was last year, and I found a pattern with the 49ers ever since they went to the Super Bowl in 2019, Super Bowl 54 against the Chiefs. It seems like they've had like on one off one type of year. So in 2019, very on one of the best teams in the league. They make it to the Super Bowl, they lose. 2020, everyone gets hurt. They don't do good. I think they win like six. They win like 6 games. They're 6-10. 2021, they do pretty good. They make it to the NFC Championship, end up losing to the Rams. 2022, I think was a bad year. I for some reason I am blanking on 2022. 2023 was their Brock Purdy year. Riddled with injuries, but still made it, kind of an outlier. 2024 makes it to the Super Bowl, lose to the Chiefs in overtime. 2025 riddled with injuries. So it's like you're either really high or you're riddled with injuries and you're down. This
Yeah,
year
I mean,
was
I
the
think
injury year.
that's part of a product. I think of just a lot of your stars are injury prone
Yeah.
guys. Like the years where they can hold it together, you're going to be a Super Bowl contender. The years where they don't, you have no shot. So
Yeah.
it really is kind of like a coin flip.
No, yeah, and I mean we're getting Ayuk back this season. Christian McCaffrey. I mean he's coming back from injury, but he does have Achilles tendonitis in both of his Achilles. So it's going to be interesting to see how they work him. If he's going to be,
Yeah,
injury prone, if they're going to limit his minutes. You got obviously you're down Debo, but you have Ricky Pearsall who had a pretty decent rookie year after coming back from being shot. I mean,
yeah,
I'll take
yeah.
that any day of the week if you can get shot and still go out there and perform. I mean, I want a dude like that on my team. Um, but you still have Kittle. Still have your backup running back room that's been pretty good. I think the only thing now that you're looking at is I mean their defense has been very shaky the last couple years. The Robert Saleh-less years. Now especially without Hufunga, Dre Greenlaw, I think Malik Mustafa just tore his ACL I think in a training camp. So he's going to be out for the year, but you got Robert Saleh back. I think he can definitely turn that defense around. He built the young core that led them to the 2019 Super Bowl. So I think he can definitely do it again.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have a lot of trust in him. I think that raises the ceiling of the defense for sure, and you're gonna need that, you know. But I think another part is like going back to like this is the time, like this is the year. Like a lot of your guys are getting like a lot of those star players are getting older now, whether it's Kittle or obviously
Yep.
CMC. Like besides Purdy, pretty much every star on that team is an older, aging vet. So that's why like the window is closing. And so you gotta if you can get one more mostly healthy year out of CMC, I think that'd be amazing and be kind of more than what some expect. So you have to try and hopefully get that and take advantage of it.
Yeah, and I mean, you mentioned Kittle. He just signed a contract extension too. I think he's now the highest paid tight end in NFL history. So there's another
Yeah.
salary thing you have to look out for. They did release Kyle Juszczyk, but a couple days later they re-signed him to like a 1-year vet minimum. So that's good because now you're a bit cheaper. Fred Warner has been taking a lot of pay cuts the last few years to try to help John Lynch and the 49ers to sign some guys, but yeah, now, as I keep saying, now is the year to do it. As a 49ers fan, it really sucks because I've watched the down years, 2016, 2017, 2018. It wasn't fun. I hate like watching those years. I mean, it seems like almost all the teams I root for have had like their streak and then their down years. I mean, look at the Lakers. Like after Kobe tore his Achilles, everything just went downhill, and you were just
Mhm.
at the bottom for so long, and now you're back up at the top. 49ers post Kaepernick Super Bowl were kind of bottom of the barrel. Now they're back up, but now they're slowly going back down again. It's just it's really it's hard to watch.
Yeah. They'll get back there. They'll get back there. Again, it's just a couple good, like solid organizations though, and
Oh
like
yeah.
leaders that you can believe in there, which is important.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to our next topic. We're going to change sports. That's all for football for now. Training camps are starting up in a couple months, so football is slowly but surely coming back. But we'll stick to the diamond and let's talk about I instead of talking about my Angels, since we just talked about my 49ers, let's talk about your Yankees. The New
Okay.
York Yankees, the Bronx Bombers went out and beat the Cubs, who are surprisingly one of the best teams in the league after being kind of middle of the road, maybe fighting for that NL wildcard spot in a limbo state, but now they're really coming into their own. But the Yankees just showed up and showed out and showed everyone why the Yankees are still the team to beat in honestly the entire league.
Yeah, I think you said the Cubs, but Mets.
Or the Mets. Yeah, sorry, the
I
Mets.
want to make that correction, but yeah, I mean, it was a really fun. I think the MLB rivalry weekend went about as well as it could have. It's the first year they wanted to like try and make something of a weekend with it, and it went pretty well. I think the fact that the whole Soto thing of him going to the Mets, I think that made the weekend a lot more exciting for the Yankees, and it made everything a lot louder. And it really was a playoff atmosphere vibe for sure, which was so much fun. And they're hot right now, the Yankees. They've won 4 series in a row against really good teams. It's the Padres, the Mariners, the A's, and then the Mets. So those are four, two of those were on the West Coast. So very impressive West Coast trip. They're feeling good right now. They beat the Rangers last night to take game 1 of that series. So they're trying for 5 series in a row, which would be very nice. Up to 28-19, 4.5 games ahead of the Red Sox in their division. I think they absolutely are the team to beat. I mean, it was really fitting over the weekend against the Mets because it was really like Soto against the plan B for Soto, where Soto goes 1 for 10, a couple walks, a couple strikeouts. He effectively doesn't impact the series at all. And then Max Fried comes out and absolutely shoves. He's been like the best pitcher in baseball so far. Then Cody Bellinger has an unbelievable series. He hit like 600 over the 3 games and had that grand slam. And Devin Williams comes out. He's looking really sharp. He's a scoreless 8 out of his last 9 outings, so he's kind of finding himself slowly again. Uh, and Paul Goldschmidt continues to absolutely rake. So everything's going
I
really well
forget
for the
he's on the Yankees.
yeah, he's been totally overshadowed because Judge is still doing Judge things. But he's like batting 340. Like it's absolutely
That's
insane. And
crazy.
he does this thing like head down. He's just gonna go up every day and just hit a bunch of singles, and it's so much fun to watch. I loved watching him when he was with the D-backs for a decade. So it's so cool to be able to watch him every game, every day again. It really is. It's awesome. But I mean, everything's going really well. The young guys are stepping up. I mean, Volpe's been really good, up and down hitting wise, but he's still a Gold Glover. Dominguez has been like an all-star from the left as a lefty, and then as a righty in the batter's box, he hasn't been as good, but still, I'll take it. Austin Wells still looks solid, and then some of these other guys like Grisham has really stepped up, and Ben Rice has really stepped up. So just a lot of different contributions, and then Carlos Rodon being that two guy. He's been fabulous the last month or so. Desperately needed him without Garrett Cole this year. So I'm really happy with my Yankees. And I think, honestly, right now they're sitting 9 games over 500, but their run differential, I think, is the best in baseball because they've just destroyed a few teams. They really like to run up the score. So I think they could even be better than they are right now. They've had a few really tough losses. So I think they're on the right trajectory, and I like their odds for another AL East title.
Yeah, I was actually in a Twitch streamer's chat recently. Twitch streamer being Truman Nation. He was a guest on the podcast in episode 5. I recommend you all go check it out. That was a really good episode. We did that one live, so that was fun. But he was actually at the Yankees Mets series. He got flown out to do some content for that game, and he said he had not been in a louder atmosphere than that series. He said when Juan Soto was getting booed, his ears started hurting. That's how loud it was.
Wild. I mean, and it really is crazy. There's an article that came out from Bob Clappish, who is a solid beat reporter for the Yankees, and his article just like scathing of Juan Soto. It's absolutely wild. He says, just a couple quotes. The man is downright miserable. That's one. The 3 sellout crowds this weekend broke him. There's another. I mean, he did. He was supposed to be on. He's supposed to get interviewed for the Sunday Night Baseball game, and he turns it down last minute. He is in his post-game interviews, he turns to someone and he's like, I just have to go say hi to my family, I'll be right back. And he never comes back. He just walks out and sneaks out of there and hides away from the press. And then, of course, a couple days later, there's all this stuff with the hustling. He doesn't run out of the box.
Yep.
His manager Mendoza is saying, well, we've got to talk to him, he's got to hustle. Then Soto's saying, I don't know what you're talking about, I am hustling. It's like the alarms are sounding a little bit. We're 7 weeks into an $800 million contract that's going to be 15 years long. Like, it's kind of crazy. Again, I think he'll be fine. He's still on. I mean, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. He's awesome. But I think it would be crazy to think that he's not regretting his decision a little bit right now. I mean,
Yeah.
it's pretty wild.
Yeah, I mean, I knew he was going to go to the Mets. When there were free agency talks started this past offseason, everyone was saying, it looks like it's going to be the Mets. He wants to go to the Mets. So I wasn't shocked that he took the offer, but I was also somewhat shocked that he didn't stay with the Yankees. I mean, he had a pretty good season.
He had his best season
Yeah, they
last.
they
Yeah.
went to the World Series.
Yeah.
I mean, why don't you stay? Run it back,
Yeah.
But then it's like it's almost like parallel to the Nationals when he was on the Nationals. Win the World Series and then you say, "You know what? I don't want your $600 million contract or whatever it was for 12 years." Excuse me. And you end up going to Who did he go to next? The
Padres.
Padres, and
Yeah.
then you're with the Padres, have decent years, and you're like, we're playoff contenders, but I want to go win. Trade me. You go to the Yankees, who are title contenders, and after a great World Series run that comes up short, you go, I want the back seat. Let's go to the rivals. Like
That
it's so weird to me.
That's what really made me upset is because I get like the Mets offered him. Really, the difference was they gave him one extra year, and like I think it was the Yankees had. I think what the official deal that he got is like 765 million. The Yankees were at like 740, but the big difference is that in addition, the Mets gave him a suite for every single year, and
Oh,
that ends up being worth $40 million over the course of the 15-year contract or whatever. The Yanks don't. They just don't give out suites to anyone. They didn't give out to Jeter. They didn't give it out to anyone. So that's just not. So he opted for more money. I mean, that's the difference, right? The only reason you go to the Mets is because they were offering you more money. But then when he comes out and says, well, I came here because I think they have a good chance to, like, I want to win a World Series and they have a great chance to win it all. That's what I was like, you don't have to say that, man. You were just in the World Series with the
yeah,
Yankees. Like you went there for money, and it's okay. I totally understand. You have $800 million on the table. Sure, like take it, and don't have generational wealth for forever. But don't say that it's because of any other reason. Because you have Aaron Judge hitting behind you. The best thing for your baseball career, if you want to win, was clearly staying with the Yankees. He didn't do that, and now it feels like you just watch the body language. He's not doing the Soto shuffle anymore. He hasn't done that at all this year, which is weird. That's like his whole brand, and he's just like it doesn't look like he's having fun out there at all, which is weird for a guy who's, again, his entire brand was having fun and being, like all swagged up all the time. So it's a really interesting thing, but I mean, I am now a hater. I want him to have a terrible career with the Mets and the Yankees to outshine him. I had a very fun weekend watching that all go down.
yeah. I mean, you could tell he's not very versed in PR training.
No.
Because I mean, all you really have to say is just a typical, oh, they were a better fit for me at the end of the day. Say that, move on. Everyone would have just, everyone knew it was for the money, but you going out there and saying, oh, I want to contend for a title, you were just in the World Series
Yeah,
with the
exactly.
Yankees. I mean, I'm not saying that the Mets can't go to a World Series. I mean, last year, I honestly I thought it was going to be a Subway Series World Series. I thought the Mets were going to do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
The Mets are pretty good. They have the chance to make it to the World Series, but I think just in the AL, I think the Yankees have it a bit easier. I think the
Way easier.
AL is they have the easier path to the World Series because in the NL you got to go through the Padres, you got to go through the Dodgers. Honestly, you just have to go through the NL West.
Yeah.
Everything runs through the NL West in the NL, but then you also have the Phillies, the
Great.
Braves. I know the
Yeah.
Braves have been pretty down this year. The Cubs are doing good now. They have Pete Crow Armstrong. PCA has been great. Um, I mean, the NL is just such a more competitive league than the AL is.
By
It, it's
far.
almost it's almost like the NBA Eastern and Western Conference. Like the West is tough. The East is a cakewalk, and
Yeah.
that's the same for the MLB.
It's the exact same. I think you could make a real case that the best five teams in baseball are all in the National League effectively. I mean, the Dodgers, and then the Padres, and then the Phillies, maybe the Mets, and then the Giants have been unreal. The Cubs have been so good. Like there's a lot, and then in the East, in the AL, besides the Yankees, there's literally nobody else. The Tigers have been really good, but the AL Central hasn't really won a playoff series or done anything in quite some time. So I need to see it in the playoffs to believe it that an AL Central team is gonna go far. But yeah, I mean it's certainly a way easier path in the AL right now. By far, and that sets the Yankees up. They don't have to be the best team in baseball. They just have to be the best AL team, and it's a much lower standard. And then if you get to the World Series, anything can happen.
Yeah, and I mean to go back on Juan Soto, there was a report that came out that said that the front office thinks he's lacking enthusiasm, and I
Mhm.
just thought of something right now. The last time I heard that was Ben Simmons when he was on the 76ers. Dude does
It's-
not want to play basketball. Or no, I mean Anthony Rendon. The dude says it feels like a job to him. I
yeah.
mean, so it,
That's the one thing. Obviously, that's worst case scenario. If it's, he just got his bag, it's guaranteed, his $800 million. Does he take it a little easier now and not have that same fire and spark that we've seen from him his entire career so far? That's made him so fun to watch. I hope that doesn't happen. That'd be bad for baseball,
oh
but it'd
yeah.
be really bad for the Mets. Oh my goodness.
Let's. I think that's enough Juan Soto talk. I know here on the podcast we like to talk about, you know, not so big national storylines, but with a thing like that, you got to talk about it. And there's so much coverage. Just be repeating what all these other people are saying, but obviously we're giving our own opinions. But that's just a such a wild case, Juan Soto. But let's move on to the West Coast now. Let's go to Los Angeles at Dodger Stadium, where they were swept by the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim in a great freeway series. I mean, as an Angels fan, that was my World Series. I can rest easy now. I don't care if we lose to them at Angel Stadium. The fact that we swept at Dodger Stadium was just like I can die happy. I mean, everyone
Yeah.
everyone played great.
Yeah, I mean, what a fun series. I mean, definitely did not expect that. I don't think a sweep, but awesome for the Angels. They needed it too,
Oh
desperately. If they
yeah.
want to stay kind of just competitive um, for the next couple months, at least until the trade deadline, to make some noise, you had to get back closer to 500. They do that now. They're 22 and 25. I think they've won because they've beaten the A's the last two nights. I think they've
Yeah.
won five in a row,
Yeah.
which is really exciting. And yeah, I mean, the pitching's really worked the last five games, and now you're starting to see these hitters go off. It's really exciting. It was good games. Beat the Dodgers by four, and then by two, and then by two again. And I think you have to hold on to some hope. Again, you do have some like a really fun young hitting core between Zach Neto and Nolan Shanuel and Logan O'Hoppe. Like that's a fun few really young guys that you can put in the middle of your lineup every day for the next however many years in a row. And then it's just a matter of how much can you get from this pitching staff and this bullpen outside of Kenley Jansen. And they delivered enough over the weekend and over the last few days. And it's just, let's see how long it can hold up.
Yeah, and I mean Kenley Jansen has been not the best. He hasn't had the best year with the Angels, 5.28 ERA. Not in 15 and a third innings pitched, nothing compared to his career 2.62 ERA. But in his first game back at Dodger Stadium on the rival team with the Angels, he had a masterclass of a performance. He pitched in back-to-back days. The first win of the series, he pitched an inning, only allowed one hit. In the second game of the series, one in the third inning, allowed one hit. I mean, in the last five games, he's been on a tear, only allowing, let's see, 6 hits in 5 games in just under what is that? 5 innings. It's done really well
Yeah.
so far, and I hope he continues to do great. But yeah, like you mentioned, the young hitters are doing good, and this is all without Mike Trout. And it's funny because a lot of non-Angels fans are saying that Mike Trout is the problem. Like it seems like every time Mike Trout is injured, the Angels do well, which historically is true. But Mike Trout is still Mike Trout. He's gonna get you, um, where you want to be. But yeah, the Angels have been doing really good, but the Angels are still gonna be the Angels. I mean, I'm gonna ride this high for as long as I can, but I know I'm gonna get humbled pretty soon. probably around
Yeah.
the trade deadline is when everything is going to fold. But it was really cool to see um, the sweep too. I remember talking to Bella. Bella is someone who work with at KCSB Sports here at UC Santa Barbara, and I mentioned to her that the Angels were playing the Dodgers, and I didn't really have faith. And she says, "Well, never say never." And she sent me a screenshot of the winning score of the first game of the series, and I sent her the "anything is possible" Kevin Garnett gif, and then
Yep.
we go on to sweep, and I was like, and then I think too the fact that we ended the sweep on a Shohei Ohtani swing and a miss is just music to my ears. I
Yeah.
mean, just like how you hate Juan Soto because he went to the rival, I hate Shohei Ohtani because he went to the Dodgers. I despise the man now.
That's fair. That's fair. And hey, look, it's going to take kind of a bullpen turnaround. Right now, the Angels have the worst bullpen ERA in baseball. It's a 6.82. They've allowed the second most homers, 30 already. That's what I mean. That needs to be turned around, right? If you can get a couple guys, if Kenley Jansen can turn back the clock a little bit and done what he's done over the last week or so and anchor that bullpen a little bit, that's going to be so huge because the starting pitching hasn't been awful. Kikuchi's been solid, Anderson's been solid, and the hitting hasn't been awful. It's really just get the bullpen down, and you can stay in series with teams that are much better than you, like the Dodgers. You can stay competitive. So, definitely hold on to hope for as long as you possibly can.
Yeah, and it's so weird, and people say this every year too with the Angels. The Angels only do well against like really good contenders, and then they just absolutely just hit the bed, for lack of better terms, um, or like when they're playing against under 500 teams. Like I'm surprised they're beating the Athletics right now. I, I,
Yeah.
I thought the Athletics would be beating us, but one more game and we win the series. But yeah, I mean, as an Angels fan, I'm really happy. Like I said, gonna ride the high, but I gotta hold out hope that we can make a wild card spot this year. That would be my dream. Finally get to see the Angels play in the playoffs. But I mean, we'll have to wait and see. But let's move on to the NBA. Let's talk about that a little bit. The conference finals are going on right now. The Timberwolves just lost to the Thunder in game one, and today at 5, it's currently about to be noon Pacific Standard Time, so 5 p.m. Pacific on Wednesday, May 21st. The Knicks will be playing the Pacers. But let's talk about the Timberwolves and Thunder first before we get to the more highly anticipated Knicks Pacers Eastern Conference Final. I'm rooting for the Timberwolves. I've said it on the podcast before, but the Thunder really just I don't know. I remember checking the score in the fourth quarter. Fourth quarter had just started. It was 79-71, and then the Thunder just ran away with it. I mean, I didn't get to watch the game, so I don't know if there was a defensive breakdown or it was a lack of offense on the Timberwolves' part. But I mean, if the series is going to be, a slaughter by, from the Thunder, I mean, I don't know how interesting this series is going to be, even with Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, I mean, it was a tale of two halves. It was that defense of the Thunder that really did it, Angel. It was again, it was a really close game. The Timberwolves went into the half up by 4 points, and then they scored a total of 40 points in the last two quarters, and it was just incredible defense by the Thunder. There's a world in which I believe what the Thunder had the best point differential in NBA history,
Yeah.
right? They won 60 games. Like, there's a world where the Thunder just like blow everybody else out and they win the championship and they're just that much better than everyone. I hope that's not the case. I tend to agree with you. I think the Timberwolves are just a more fun, exciting team to watch. But I think kind of just bad luck. The Timberwolves are not set up well in this series. They went against two teams in the first two rounds that didn't really have centers at all. And now they have to play a guy like Holmgren. And then they also went up, Curry is out for the vast 4 out of the 5 games last series. So they had no point guard. And now, of course, they have to face probably the best guard in the league this year, he's probably going to win MVP. So they haven't been kind of set up very well, haven't really been prepared for this just because of just how the playoffs have shaken out so far. And there is a world where they just get absolutely outclassed by this Thunder defense because that Thunder defense is so impressive. I hope that's not the case. I do think, there's a world where Ant is that special in the playoffs and he can take over a game or two. Julius Randle has still been pretty darn solid throughout these playoffs. He's going to need, he gave him 28 points last night. He's going to need to keep doing that. And then Anthony Edwards is going to have to kind of explode. And you're going to need Rudy Gobert to really, really, really step up offensively in addition to his defense. It's a lot to ask out of this Timberwolves team because I think they are just talent-wise the inferior team. I don't know. I kind of sort of pictured this ending in like 5, maybe 6, but I hope it gets lengthened out a little bit. I hope it's a long series.
Yeah, and I mean the Thunder are such a small and quick team, and the Timberwolves are way more. I mean they got some small and quick guys. They got Dante DiVincenzo, Anthony Edwards is very agile and athletic. You got a guy like Nickel Alexander Walker, Jaden McDaniels, but then after that, I mean who are you gonna get to guard some of these other guards? Julius Randle can't really guard on the perimeter that well. I'm sure some Knicks fans are going to be like, "No, he can guard on the perimeter." I don't think so. I think Julius Randle is just a defensive liability on the perimeter. He can't. He's not quick to his feet. Can he contest a shot on the perimeter? Sure, but to trust him to go up against guys like Jalen Williams or SGA, if he has to switch onto him, he's going to get blown by. Um, and you mentioned, potential MVP in Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. The NBA MVP award is actually going to get announced today as we're recording this in 4 hours on TNT, 6 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. So we will see today who the MVP is going to be. Is it going to be SGA? Is it going to be Jokic? I think it should be Jokic. I mean, if Russell Westbrook can win by averaging a triple double as a guard, I think Jokic should win, averaging a triple double as a center. But we're not here to talk about MVP. We talked about that a few episodes ago. But yeah, I don't think the Timberwolves are a great matchup for the Thunder. I think Anthony Edwards can only do so much. I mean, especially now without Cat. I mean, at least
Exactly.
he had some sort of backup when they made their great run to the Western Conference Finals last year. It was obviously Ant doing a lot of the work, but you also had guys like Karl Anthony Towns doing some of the weight that Anthony Edwards couldn't do, or just to alleviate some stress. But now you don't really have a true second option. I mean,
Exactly.
who is it really? Is it Julius
And
Randle? Is it
yeah,
Nas Reed? Is
I
it
think
Rudy
it's Julius
Gobert?
Randle, but that's not necessarily the second option you want to roll with. As good
Yeah.
as he's playoffs, that's not, and I don't think that's the best second option for a guy like Anthony Edwards either.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's just a bad matchup from top down. I think if the Thunder play the way they are right now, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they sweep. I I,
Yeah,
I
no, I
don't
mean,
I
there's
don't
a
want to
world.
see it, but I wouldn't be surprised.
No, I think there's totally a world where they do sweep, and that would not be fun. But I think this series has the potential to be definitely not great. Whereas the other series, I think no matter what, is going to be a very competitive series.
Yeah, let's talk about that one now. For the first time in 25 years, the New York Knicks are in the Eastern Conference Finals against the team that they faced 25 years ago, the Indiana Pacers. I mean, this is a very historic rivalry. Obviously, we've seen Reggie Miller in the 80s going up and the early 90s going up against the Knicks. You got Spike Lee on the sidelines. I mean, we're going to see Reggie Miller in Madison Square Garden because TNT has some of these games. It's going to be such a fun series to watch. As much as I really don't like any team in the playoffs, I can't. I have to tip my cap to the Knicks and the Pacers for that matter. And this series has so much riding on it. There's gonna be the atmosphere is gonna be crazy. I wish I was there, but I heard it's like $600 just to get into the door.
I think so. Something crazy like that. Yeah.
I don't want to spend $600 for standing room only. And I also saw a report earlier, like an hour ago, that said if you want to sit courtside next to Timothy Chalamet, it's like $24,000.
That sounds about right.
No, thank you. I will
That
sit
is
at
so
home and watch it on my computer.
Oh, it's so totally ridiculous. But what an awesome storyline for basketball to bring
Yeah,
back this so many years later. The first time the Knicks are back, and it's crazy. The final four teams left. Three of them haven't ever won a title, and then the other one is the Knicks, who haven't won one since '73 or whatever it is. So it's
yeah.
crazy. It's going to be a historical finals matchup, and then a historical champion, no matter who wins it from this point forward, which is really cool. But I don't know. I have this as a really, really good series. I think the Knicks are more talented. I think I would pick them in this series, but I think it's really, really close. And Halliburton's been playing out of his mind this playoffs. He is going to be really impressive what he can do. I think they match up pretty well against one another. They're both really good stories. Like I have this as maybe Knicks in seven, like something crazy like that.
Pascal Siakam, Chewbacca, Waka Flocka, Dixon 6.
I like it. I
There we
like it.
go. I mean, I really think the Knicks can win in five, but I think the Pacers are gonna, they might take. I think they take a game in MSG, and then I think they take a game at home at their house. Ultimately, I do think the Knicks are gonna win in six. I mean, honestly, this series is so up in the air because I mean, the Pacers aren't really that good, but against the Knicks, it's really like a flip of the coin. The Knicks are really good, but the Pacers are also in some ways the Knicks' kryptonite. Like they know how to beat them. They know how to play against them really well. They played them four times this year, so obviously they know what what to expect going into the series today. Um, I mean, this could easily also be Pacers in seven. It could be
Yeah, I think
Pacers in six.
Yeah, it could be something like that for sure. I think it's really both of these teams are like this is easily the best that they've been all year. Obviously, the Pacers started out, I think it was 10-15 to start the year, and they have really just as the season's gone on, they've found their footing again and again, and they've looked like maybe the most dominant team in the playoffs so far.
Yeah,
I mean, handling the Bucks easily, handling a 64 win Cavs team really easily. They injuries or no injuries, even when they were fully healthy, they handled that Cavs team. So they might have been they might look like the most impressive team in basketball so far through two rounds. And then obviously the Knicks went from not being able to beat a single good team all regular season to clearly they figure that out now and they look absolutely unreal. So I think both of these teams are at the height of their powers, which makes this so much more exciting. And they're both everyone's healthy, everyone's just like balling out right now. So I think it's going to be a great, great series. I think honestly the difference could be that the Knicks do have home field advantage, and you get four games at MSG, and I feel pretty good about winning three of those and taking one in Indiana. I mean, I think they do. You mentioned it absolutely nuts. And I just watched like Jalen Brunson on some podcast talk about how when they were up by like 40 against the Celtics the other day and someone, drilled a three, he's like, that's the loudest I've ever heard any arena ever. Like it's absolutely insane. And it really is crazy how loud that place gets and how much New York wants it. So I think the home court advantage is not to be understated. And I think the fact that you get four games there could be the difference.
yeah. I pray for the city of New York if the Knicks win because it may very. People have been joking around that Knicks is going to be that New York City is going to be up in flames. If the Knicks beat the Pacers and go to the finals, I think sparks are gonna fly. If the Knicks win it all, New York City will be rubble.
Yeah, it's burning down to the ground. My one of my professors happened to be in New York this weekend. He's like, it was terrifying for a little bit. Like he was there as they beat the Celtics. He's like, it was awesome, but it was really absolutely insane. Like people were going nuts.
So yeah, my I got a friend who goes to Columbia, and he flew back a few days ago, and I was texting him before he was about to head to his flight. He's like, "Yeah, my flight boards in like 5 hours, but I don't trust public transit right now because he was there the night he left the night the Knicks won
Oh my
in
God.
MSG against the Celtics.
Wow,
So
yeah.
he was like, "Yeah, I'm not taking the subway." He's like, "I'll pay 30, $40 for an Uber. I don't care."
Yeah. Probably a smart choice.
No, yeah, and I just saw today the city of New York actually renamed some of the streets of New York for the Knicks players to honor them. West 32nd is Carl Anthony Towns Square. West 11, Jalen Brunson Boulevard. The list goes on. I won't read all of them, but it's pretty cool to see that the city of New York is honoring their team. Really
Yeah,
cool to
they're
see.
fired up.
They
They've waited a long time.
Oh, they have. They definitely have. I mean, like I said, I'm not a fan of the Knicks by any means. Um, but if they win it, I mean, props to them. It's gonna put a smile on my face. It definitely will. I think the Knicks do deserve it. As much as it hurts me to say that, I think they deserve it. But let's move on now to I'd say the final couple topics of the podcast. Let's move over to college. Let's talk about softball. Our UC Santa Barbara Gauchos made it to the Big West Conference tournament. They played like 7 games in 5 days or something like that. Ended up winning it all. Got to play in the NCAA softball tournament. They got voted into the Los Angeles against UCLA. They lost game one, like 9-1 after being up 1-0.
Mhm.
They had to play, I think it was San Diego State or Arizona.
ASU and then San
It
Diego
was
State.
Arizona State in the losers bracket of the first game. They beat them, which is their first win in program history in a NCAA tournament. Then they go out to beat San Diego State in the second loser bracket game to have a chance to play for the title if they win back to back against UCLA. So they get their rematch. Ended up losing, I think it was like 12-1.
Yeah.
But I mean, what a run this softball team went on. I mean, hats off to some of the players: Jazzy Santos, Ainsley Wydell, Bella Fuentes, and Malaya Johnson, Big West Pitcher of the Year. I mean, this team, I don't think they should be dipping their heads in sorrow. They should walk out of there heads held high. What a
Oh
great
yeah.
season.
I mean, this was the best season of Gaucho softball history. I mean, it really was. It was the best year Gaucho softball has ever had, which is really cool. They won at one point 8 straight elimination games. That is completely unfathomable. Again, they weren't the best team. They were, fourth in the Big West. They came in preseason. They were voted around there, maybe a little bit worse, coming off of a year where they finished 20-28, well below 500. And then they decided, you know what? Let's just go on the most magical run in Gaucho softball history. Why not? And obviously, a large part of that is Malaya Johnson. She ended up that back-to-back games because they had to play ASU in the afternoon. That was a 4 o'clock game, I believe. That game goes into extras, 10 innings, and then 30 minutes later, the game you have to play SDSU. That game started at 9, and then that one went into extra innings, and they were done. The final pitch was literally midnight. So they were playing for 8 straight hours with a 30-minute break in between. And Malaya Johnson pitched every single pitch in that span. She threw 283 pitches in one day, winning two elimination games. Absolutely unreal. Just like what a fun story and something that like, yeah, head held high. And you like bring that into next season. A lot of these girls are coming back. Like stay fired up, use that experience and that like gaucho magic. Now you can feel good for next year, but just a really cool story.
Yeah, and I mean Malaya Johnson, you talk about her pitching over 200 pitches in like the span of a couple games, in the span of a handful of hours, but I mean, look at the amount of pitches she threw even before that in the
Yeah.
conference tournament, in the final home series, in the final series of the season. I mean, they were literally throwing her out there. It seemed like every single day.
Yeah, unreal, absolutely unreal. She ends the year starting 34 games. She appeared in 42. She throws 223.1 innings
That is
this
insane.
2.95 ERA. Like, yeah, Big
In
West player,
that amount of innings, and you throw that low of an ERA, you got
unreal.
to win some sort of national award.
I mean, absolutely crazy. It really is crazy.
Let's move over now to the other side of the diamond. Let's talk baseball. Our UC Santa Barbara Gauchos, in a bit of a turn of events. After midway through the season, people didn't think the Gauchos would be where they are right now, but obviously us Gaucho fans did. Um, they out of after a lot of like conference tie-breaking scenarios and different uh, seeding scenarios, Gauchos find themselves as the fifth seed heading into the Big West tournament, which, as the time I'm saying this, I believe they are already playing and underway. They are
Started
playing.
bottom of the first two outs. There you go.
All right, they are playing the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors, and this is a single elimination game. This is the first time that the Big West has had a conference tournament, an official conference tournament for baseball. If you lose this game, then you're out of it. You win, you're in. It's essentially like an NBA play-in game, except if you lose, you don't get a second chance. You win, you're in. You lose, you're out. But I mean, the Gauchos had been pretty good in the last month leading up to the conference tournament. Would have loved to see a sweep against Bakersfield in the final series of the season, but it is what it is. You win two, you're in. You're playing against Hawaii, who you lost the season series to earlier in the year, if I remember correctly, and
Yeah.
they did it pretty well, Hawaii. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Gauchos fare. But Jake, what are your thoughts going into the conference tournament that it's now underway?
I mean, really frustrating that the Gauchos couldn't sweep Bakersfield. I'll be honest with you because if they had, they would have won 8 games in a row, and they were firmly on the bubble going into that Bakersfield series. They were next four out. And they were one of the hottest teams in the country. If they had just won, it was crazy, 12-13 game back and forth, grand slams, and if they had won, I think they would absolutely still have a shot to have an at-large bid into the NCAA tournament. That now does not, they do not have a shot at that. They have to win the Big West tournament if they want to get into the NCAA, which is, this is disappointing, already a disappointing year. That said, now it's time to go out and prove it and be like softball, win a couple crazy elimination games, do what you have to. I think, Jackson Floor, we talked a lot about who's pitching when, what's going to
Yeah,
happen.
I was just about to bring that up.
They ended up rolling with Flora for this elimination game, which I like. I think he's been the more consistent pitcher throughout the year this year, and they kind of lined him up for this as well, just like rest days and whatnot. So roll it out there with a guy who's been your best pitcher and who's been probably the best pitcher in the Big West for the last 2 months of the regular season, and then hopefully you win and you can send out Tyler Bremner tomorrow, who has been awesome the last few games. It seems like he's kind of back to his Tyler Bremner self, which would again change the entire formula for this Gaucho team. Bremner in his last couple games, 6 innings, 2 earned runs, 10 Ks, six in the third, 1 earned run, 10 Ks, seven shut, 13 Ks last time out. So he's on a tear. That's the kind of Tyler Bremner you need. I mean, that's what you're going to have to do. The formula for the Gauchos is Flora goes today, beat Hawaii, Bremner goes tomorrow, beat UC Irvine. It's a big ask. UC Irvine's been one of the best teams in the country this year, but Bremner's going to be the best pitcher in that game. Win that game, scrounge up enough offense, get yourself in the winner's bracket, and then you can afford a loss and get Flora back on the mound come hopefully championship time. So I think that's got to be the formula, and I think it can work. I think the Gauchos can find themselves in a championship game. They do have the talent, but it's going to take a couple great pitching performances from Flora and Bremner.
Yeah, I think obviously you want to win today. That's why you throw out Jackson Flora and you save Tyler Bremner for the UC Irvine game. That honestly, I think that game is going to be bigger than the championship game overall. Because if you lose that game, your back's against the wall. You're in the losers bracket already. You beat UC Irvine though, then you play the winner of Cal Poly CSUN, in which both of those teams you can easily beat them.
Absolutely. Cal Poly's been on the downtrend too. Right now, they're not even projected to make the NCAA tournament,
Yeah.
which is crazy. They're a next four out team. It's wild. They've been on the downturn, which is good for us.
But then the question is, let's even win or lose against UC Irvine. Who do you throw out in the third and the fourth game if you make it to the fourth game? The third game probably Cal Pro, but who would be the fourth game if it comes to that?
Yeah, I'm worried because Prosky has not looked himself again. They tried to give him a relief appearance against LMU. He got knocked around but didn't give up any runs in a couple innings. He started the Cal Bakersfield game, the one that they lost, and he looked bad again. He hasn't turned in a quality start since UC Riverside on April 12th. That's a long time. I don't know. Honestly, if I'm Andrew Checketts, I have Hudson Barrett start game three and kind of bullpen it a little bit. I think Barrett looked really, really sharp against LMU a few weeks ago. He gave you 2.2 shut. He's worked his way up pitch count wise. He can probably give you 70 pitches now coming back from Tommy John. Can probably get up to 70. So you hope that he still has it because he's looked better than Calvin Prosky over the last couple of weeks. So I'm hoping that Barrett can come out there and give me 4 or 5 shut and then let the bullpen take over. And then maybe Prosky's your game four guy. Yeah. I mean, I think I just am not trusting Cal. It's so frustrating because Prosky was their best pitcher for the first half of the year, but I just don't know how you can trust him right now, especially in an elimination game. Maybe if you beat UC Irvine. Then you throw out Prosky because it wouldn't be an elimination game. Then you can throw out Prosky with a little room for error in the semifinals. But I think whatever your first elimination game is, I'd rather it be Barrett plus the bullpen than Prosky.
You know what they also could do? This is in college. It's kind of a bit, uncommon to do, but I wouldn't be opposed to them throwing out Jackson Flora again for like maybe 3 or 4 innings and then work the bullpen just to give you a little bit of hope.
I don't hate it. I mean, let's see now. Because you need the four game. You have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday would be. Yeah, gosh, it's hard because you kind of need 2 games rest. Really isn't enough, I don't think. Even if you 2 days rest, I don't know if that's enough for a starting pitcher to come out and give you anything in the pen. I feel like you probably need 3 in this day and age. I don't know if they think he can do it. I think you absolutely need to if he can give you anything. But if not, I don't know. Do you think? If the Gauchos make it to like a Sunday game for a winner-take-all championship, you think Prosky could go there on 3 days rest? I don't know.
Do you trust Prosky in that situation though?
Or I mean Flora rather.
Oh,
Flora.
Flora. Okay. Yeah. I mean, But the thing is, too, Jackson Flora has been throwing near triple digits. So, I mean,
No,
the
that's the
man
problem.
really needs like 5 days
Yeah,
rest.
and that's what they've been doing all year. You have effectively 5 or 6 days rest because you just the Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I don't know how difficult it would be to then condense that. You get half of as much time off, and not a good spot. Not a good. That's why that Irvine game is so important. If they can get past today, if they can get to the semi, if they can get into the winners bracket, that makes everything else so much easier.
Yeah, it's really you got to lock in for this Hawaii elimination game. Beat UC Irvine, you're in a you like your situation better than if you lose and your back is against the wall early. But I want to go back to Tyler Bremner. Um, I was looking at his mock draft projections earlier in the week. I saw him as high as 10 going to the White Sox. Majority of the people had him going 17 to the Cubs. I saw him as low as 24 to the Detroit Tigers. Um, so it's gonna be. I mean, we're talking about the season right now, but obviously, what I'm interested in is where Tyler Bremner is gonna go in the MLB. I really want to see him be a great starting pitcher for an MLB franchise.
Oh, I think he can. And again, like his underlying metrics this year, again, the ERA's been a little high at times, although he's starting to work that down. But I mean, he's got 13 strikeouts per 9 innings. It's absolutely wild. And he's a 35.8% strikeout rate and then a 6% walk rate. That is beyond elite. Just a 102 whip. The BABIP is so high. That's what's killed him. He's got a 325 BABIP, which is well above average. And I think that's why that ERA is higher. But a 313 FIP, again, all of the underlying metrics are so good. And that's why, even though he's had an up and down year, he's still projected as a first round pick. And I think he should there's a world where if he comes out against a UC Irvine and deals, that's gonna help. And if the Gauchos can, like he could really help that draft stock with a couple good games in his last game or two of the season now in the playoffs. So I think he will do that. I think he's hot right now. I see him as like a top, middle of the round in the first. But I think he projects great because he's got the plus plus velocity, he's got the plus plus breaking ball. That's what you need, and that projects so well for the majors.
Yeah, and then it's going to be cool because, we have an MLB prospect this year. We're going to have one again next year on the mound in Jackson, Florida. I mean, in the last couple games I've seen him throw, he has been throwing like 97, 98 miles an hour.
Crazy.
I mean,
His emergence this year has been so fun to watch.
yeah. I mean, give him, another year. I feel like he's gonna hit that triple digits. I feel like he can. We might see it next year. I wouldn't be surprised, but the Gauchos, just to look at their RPI, they currently sit at 64th, so they're not in the worst spot, but definitely if you would have swept Cal State Bakersfield, you could have broken into the top 50. You would have felt a lot better in. So, I mean, if you don't win the conference tournament, you're relying on the selection committee, 64th in RPI, not the worst, but obviously not the best. It's going to be a last four in, next four, first four out scenario for the Gauchos, but, we'll wait and see.
Yep. Praying. We'll see.
And with that, I think that is going to do it for us on this episode of the podcast. I believe this is episode 14. Correct me if I'm wrong. 13?
14, something like that. So we're in that range.
Because I don't have any notes now, so I don't. We're somewhere there. We're in the range. We're not even 20 episodes in, and we're already forgetting the episode number. That's great. But that'll do it for us here for the podcast. You can listen to us on YouTube if you want a video format. If you want audio only, you can listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Every episode comes out Friday at 2 p.m. Pacific. Jake, thank you so much again for coming on as my co-host. And we will hope to see you all for the next episode of Beyond the Sideline. Thank you for listening into this one.